Good morning, America. The TikTok on TikTok. With less than 24 hours until the ban is due to go into effect, some of the more than 100 million American users on edge. What am I supposed to do? And checking out new apps, including one also owned by a Chinese company.
Hello, TikTok refugees from the U.S. Welcome to Red Note.
What President-elect Trump says about saving the app.
Inauguration switch. Donald Trump moving his swearing-in ceremony indoors due to the deep freeze in the east, setting off a last-minute scramble to move events inside.
Countdown to a ceasefire. Israel's cabinet approves a pause in fighting in Gaza, set to take effect early Sunday morning. What we know about the deal and the release of dozens of hostages set to begin tomorrow.
Rising from the ashes, many Southern California residents finally allowed back to their homes, able to see the damage and see what's left, many vowing to return.
We're rebuilding. We're not selling.
As fire crews race to contain the fires still burning before the winds pick back up as the death toll rises.
Lowering costs. Popular weight loss medications, Ozempic and Wegovy, are added to a list of drug prices to be negotiated by Medicare. What it could mean for your wallet.
The NFL heating up with the divisional playoffs, bringing teams one step closer to the Super Bowl. Can the Chiefs take down the Texans on their quest for a three-peat? And will the Lions take command of Washington to keep their season alive? As ESPN's Herm says,
you play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
Herm's in the house all morning long.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Good morning, America. You play to win the game.
That's right.
Hello.
Yes.
Herm Edwards, Coach Herm right here.
One of the many Herm-isms we've come to know and love. We're so excited to have him with us today. We got a jam-packed morning here. A lot of news to get to this morning, including that breaking news from overnight. Israel's cabinet approving the deal that will stop the fighting and set some hostages free starting early tomorrow morning. We're live in Jerusalem with the details.
Also back here at home, we're following the latest on the inauguration, of course, moved indoors just days before the swearing-in ceremony will take place. Plus, the fallout from the SpaceX rocket explosion. The FAA now putting the program on hold and checking into reports of property damage from debris.
Yeah, incredible pictures there. But first, millions of Americans are watching and waiting after TikTok says it will go dark Sunday unless President Biden intervenes. Morgan Norwood joins us now. Morgan, good morning. The clock is ticking.
Yeah, good morning. We're looking at an escalating showdown between TikTok and the Biden administration. The app, as you mentioned, will go dark tomorrow on Sunday unless the administration guarantees app stores, internet providers won't face penalties for keeping the app online. Now, with that said, with that deadline just hours away, some users are savoring their final scrolls while others flock to another Chinese app in protest. This morning, TikTok warning it will shut down for its more than 170 million users in less than 24 hours, putting pressure on the White House to intervene. In a statement overnight, the company saying unless the Biden administration immediately provides a definitive statement that it won't enforce the ban that takes effect by law on Sunday, TikTok will be forced to go dark on January 19th.
What am I supposed to do?
Thank you for saving my life and changing my life, TikTok.
TikTok's threat to shut down comes after the Supreme Court sided with the federal government's national security concerns and not the company's free speech claims, citing TikTok's data collection practices and relationship with the foreign adversary. If TikTok doesn't cut ties with its China-based parent company ByteDance, it could be blocked with fines for app stores and internet service providers of up to $5,000 per user, with TikTok possibly in its final hours.
Hello, TikTok refugees from the U.S. Welcome to Red Note.
Americans are fleeing to Red Note in protest, another Chinese social media app.
What's up, everybody? It's Ross and Granny here.
For content creators like Ross Smith and his grandmother Gangster Granny, who together amass more than 24 million TikTok followers.
Traveling slow steps!
Starting over on a new platform is daunting. He says 30% of his income comes from TikTok.
We're going to lose a lot of business. It's provided a lot of jobs for people in our lives too. Like, we've been able to pay people's salaries because of TikTok.
President-elect Trump, who takes office just one day after the ban could take effect, has vowed to try to save the app, saying Friday, "My decision on TikTok will be made in the not-too-distant future, but I must have time to review the situation. Stay tuned." TikTok CEO thanking Trump for his commitment to find a solution.
I want to thank President Trump for his commitment. This is a strong stand for the First Amendment and against arbitrary censorship.
And a White House official telling ABC News that the administration has already made things clear, gone through extraordinary lengths to communicate its position, stating that this will all be up to the Trump administration to implement and enforce the law.
Okay, so we saw TikTok CEO there thanking Trump. We know that Trump has invited the CEO to the inauguration, but realistically, what can Trump do in this case here?
You know, Gio, certainly the president does have some influence here. He may try to get TikTok to broker some sort of deal to change hands. Remember, they want to try to force the sale. That's been the government's issue here. But even if that does happen, if China approves all of that, that's also a major sticking point and attention point here. The way that we experience TikTok will certainly change. I mean, the national security concerns lies within that data-driven algorithm. That's going to have to be overhauled. So you're going to have a new algorithm and certainly a new app.
All right, well, less than 24 hours to go. We'll see what happens.
Such
Morgan,
widespread impacts there could be.
Yeah. All right, Gio, thank you. And just days before President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration, brutal cold is forcing the ceremony indoors for the first time since 1985. Workers now scrambling to prepare the Capitol Rotunda. Our White House correspondent Mary Alice Parks joins us with the big changes. And Mary Alice, what can we expect?
Yeah, it is hard to believe that inauguration weekend is here. It has been months of planning and security preparations. They actually start building the platforms and infrastructure around town before the election. But now a major scramble this weekend after that decision to move the events inside to a space that can only fit a fraction of the VIP guests. This morning, just 48 hours until Donald Trump's second inauguration, last-minute changes and a major scramble in Washington, D.C. The president-elect now choosing to move his ceremonies inside, citing the Arctic blast set to hit the nation's capital Monday. A forecasted high of 23 degrees in Washington. With the wind chill for much of the day, it will feel like 7 degrees. "I don't want to see people hurt or injured in any way," Trump writing on Truth Social. "Therefore, I've ordered the inauguration address, in addition to prayers and other speeches, to be delivered in the United States Capitol Rotunda." The last indoor inauguration 40 years ago. In 1985, Ronald Reagan was sworn into his second term in the Rotunda.
So help me God. Congratulations, sir.
The temperature then just 7 degrees. The coldest inauguration since back in 2009, Barack Obama taking the oath in 28-degree weather.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
The Joint Congressional Inaugural Committee acknowledging the vast majority of ticketed guests will not be able to attend the ceremonies in person in the new location. No traditional parade down Pennsylvania Avenue. Instead, many festivities moved inside to the Capital One Arena. And overnight, scenes of the transition. From the State Department to the Justice Department to the Pentagon, Biden cabinet officials sang their farewells, with staff cheering their goodbyes. As Trump's nominees wrapped a busy week of Senate confirmation hearings. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, nominated to be the next Secretary of Homeland Security, facing tough questions about Trump's pledge to conduct mass deportations and his previous record separating families, promising to make good on Trump's hardline immigration proposals.
If confirmed as Secretary, I'll ensure that our exceptional, extraordinary Border Patrol agents have all the tools and resources and support that they need to carry out their mission.
On immigration and mass deportation, other members of Trump's incoming team have promised the last few days that people should expect big raids across the country to begin as soon as Tuesday.
All right, Mary Alice Parks, thank you. And some of the world's richest people will be at Trump's inauguration, including Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg. Former Trump advisor Steve Bannon sees that as a major victory for Trump, as he told our chief Washington correspondent Jonathan Karl in an interview for This Week, airing tomorrow. Take a look.
But as soon as Zuckerberg said, I've been invited and I'm going, the floodgates opened up and they were all there knocking, trying to be supplicants. So I look at this, and I think most people in our movement look at this as President Trump broke the oligarchs. He broke them, and they surrendered. They come and say, oh, we'll take off any constraints. There'll be no more checkings, everything. Trump's saying, I view this as September of 1945, the Missouri. and you have the Imperial High Command,
the Imperial Japanese,
and he's like Douglas MacArthur. They're there to. That is an official surrender, okay? And I think it's powerful.
And you'll be able to see more from Jonathan Karl's interview with Steve Bannon tomorrow on This Week. Janae?
A lot to look forward to there. Turning overseas now to the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. The Israeli cabinet approving the agreement overnight, now set to begin tomorrow morning at 1:30 a.m. Eastern time. ABC News foreign correspondent Tom Soufi-Burge is in Jerusalem with the very latest. Tom, good morning.
Good morning, Janae. Yeah, we're now just hours away from that ceasefire kicking in Gaza. Shortly after that, the first Israeli hostages will be released in the first phase of this historic deal, with Israel set to free nearly 2,000 Palestinians from its prisons in return for 33 Israelis, including all remaining female and child hostages, non-military men over 50, and the wounded and sick. Amongst that group, 2 Americans. This morning, amid continuing desperation for food in Gaza, Israel now saying the initial 6-week ceasefire will take effect in the early hours of Sunday morning, local time. Overnight, a dramatic 7-hour meeting in which some Israeli ministers opposed the deal, but Israel's government finally signing it off. In a document released this morning, Israel now confirming it will release more than 700 Palestinians held in Israeli prisons, including some convicted of serious crimes. As part of the deal, Israel will also free an additional 1,100 Gazans who didn't participate in the October 7 terror attack, but were being held by Israel without charge. Tomorrow, just hours after the ceasefire kicks in, the first 3 living female Israeli hostages are set to be freed by Hamas, in exchange for an initial group of Palestinians, 95 mainly female detainees. A further 33 Israeli hostages, including 2 Americans, Keith Siegel and Sagi Dechel-Chen, are set to be released in phases throughout the next 6 weeks. But the remaining 65 hostages in Gaza, a number of which are thought to be dead, will only be returned to Israel if the pause in fighting can be turned into a permanent truce. Israel now preparing 3 reception centres for the hostages along the Gaza border. And nearby in Egypt, aid trucks lined up, ready to head into the Strip once the ceasefire begins. For now, Israel still striking Gaza. More than 120 people killed since the deal was announced on Wednesday night, according to Gazan officials linked to Hamas. And guys, if we needed a reminder of how fragile the situation remains, we could hear air raid sirens in the distance and interceptions this morning. The IDF saying it shot down a missile launched from Yemen. And even though we're now counting down the hours to the ceasefire in Gaza, families of some of the hostages telling us they'll only know it's real when they get to see their loved ones in the flesh. Janae? And that's exactly what I want to ask you about, Tom, because you mentioned that the first Israeli hostages will be released in the first phase of this deal, but you have more details about the timing of the release. Yeah, sure. The ceasefire in Gaza is set to begin at 1:30 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. The first 3 Israeli hostages are then due to be released at 9 a.m. Eastern, and then dozens of Palestinians should be freed in the hours beyond that. But of course, this is just phase 1 of the deal, and it will be phased over 6 weeks. And there's really no guarantee the next stages and a permanent ceasefire will really happen. Janae? So many families holding their breath, Tom. Thank you. Whit.
Janae, out to the race against the clock in Southern California. Thousands of firefighters hoping to make more progress against those fires before the winds return next week, as some residents are finally getting to see what's left of their homes. Melissa Adon joins us now from Altadena. Melissa, good morning.
Whit, good morning. So in these destroyed communities, crews are still searching through all of this fire damage, as there's still more than a dozen that are reported missing. This amid another round of Santa Ana winds that are expected in our forecast.
This morning, the long road to recovery as more and more Californians return to what is left of their communities amid lifting evacuation orders.
Doing a lot of ash cleanup. There's ash on the roof, there's ash in the driveway, all in the yard.
More than a week after the Eaton and Palisades fires broke out, firefighters making progress on the blazes that left 27 dead and more than a dozen still missing. The Eaton fire now 65% contained, while the Palisades fire only 39% contained, ahead of another round of high winds next week.
The interior of the fire that's still left has a tremendous amount of damage. It's going to be a tough task, but we've got all the people we need here on site.
The focus for Southern California now shifting to rebuilding efforts, destruction stretching out as far as the eye can see. The fires damaging or destroying at least 12,000 structures. In hard-hit Altadena, thousands of families have lost their homes. The De La Torre family telling me while their home of 30 years is now gone, they're clinging to signs of hope. You see this lemon tree here? It's still standing. It was planted by their late father.
I feel like it's a sign. From him, from God, from whatever anyone out there believes, we're rebuilding. We're not selling.
Angelica de la Torre is part of the more than 58,000 people applying for federal aid. FEMA approving more than $16 million, showing how dire the need is.
Financially, how hard is this for you and so many?
It's extremely hard. I was working part-time before this, and I just got my license for aesthetics. And everything that I bought for the last year for my new career went down in that house.
In Altadena, this mural and these crosses put up to honor the victims of the fires, each cross representing a life that was lost.
Now, it has been so touching to see these communities here in Altadena and the Pacific Palisades come together. But something I really want to emphasize from Angelica is her message that they plan to rebuild no matter how hard and long that journey will be. But she wants to ensure that no matter it be 1 month, 3 months, even a year from now, that they are not forgotten. Guys.
And Melissa, that is one of the most remarkable things, that in the midst of unimaginable loss, so many are vowing to rebuild those same communities. Yep. Melissa, thank you for telling those stories. Now we're going to talk about SpaceX, the Starship explosion. The FAA and officials in Turks and Caicos are investigating reports of property damage after debris from that Starship explosion fell over the island. Gio, as our transportation correspondent, of course, you know a lot about this. What is going on here?
So, Janae, the FAA has now grounded Starship launches until they investigate what actually caused this explosion. So take a look at this. This was the 7th launch for Starship, about 8.5 minutes after liftoff. The vehicle just exploded. Look at that. Whoa. These images were captured by someone who was watching from the Bahamas. The stunning aftermath could be seen by passengers on a plane. One of them recording this right here. Unbelievable. Wow. The captain telling them all to look out the window. This same flight to Miami was rerouted to avoid the debris. Other flights were also diverted. Now, there are no reports of injuries, thank goodness, but the FAA is working with SpaceX and local authorities in the Turks and Caicos to confirm reports of property damage. So we're watching that. SpaceX says that initial data shows that a fire developed in the aft section leading to that explosion, but that it will conduct a full investigation in coordination with the FAA. Now, SpaceX also says, quote, success comes from what we learn, and this flight test will help us improve Starship's reliability as SpaceX seeks to make life multiplanetary. Now, the FAA will wait until this investigation is over before it allows SpaceX to launch Starship again. But it's important to remember, guys, Elon Musk does not see this as a failure. He can afford to test and test and test, even if that means explosions, because from these explosions, that's how you catch these mistakes to hopefully avoid any tragedy once you put humans on board.
But there were passengers who saw this from an airplane. How
Yes.
dangerous could that have been?
Well, they say that they chose a specific path to avoid anyone and sort of avoid any landmass. That's what SpaceX says, and that's what they try to do with these launches. But no doubt about it, the video is pretty clear. You could see it.
If you didn't know what you were looking at, you might be quite alarmed when you saw that in the sky. All right, Gio, thank you for that. We turn now to efforts to lower the price of popular prescription drugs. Just days before leaving office, President Biden expanded the list of medications to be negotiated by Medicare, including Ozempic and Wegovy. Alexis Christophorus is here now with the details. Alexis, good morning to you.
Good morning. Two drugs at the heart of the weight loss boom, Ozempic and Wegovy, are among the 15 medications whose prices will now be negotiated directly between Medicare and the drug makers. It's the second round of drug price negotiations under President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, which is meant to make expensive drugs more affordable for seniors. More than 5 million people with Medicare Part D coverage use these drugs to treat conditions such as cancer, type 2 diabetes, and asthma. In one of his final appearances as president, Biden on Friday touted last year's price negotiations, which lowered prices for 10 popular drugs. An industry group representing the drug makers calls the negotiations price setting, warning they'll kill innovation. Some employers and insurers don't cover certain drugs because they're so expensive. Without insurance, for example, a single Ozempic injection costs just under $1,000, while Wegovy has a list price of over $1,300 for a 28-day supply. Medicare only covers Ozempic and Wegovy for diabetes and heart disease, but they still cost the program about $7.5 billion. Now, the possible lower negotiated prices will take effect in 2027. The incoming Trump administration will now oversee these talks. And while President-elect Trump has said he wants to lower drug prices for Americans, he hasn't said how he'll handle these price negotiations. Guys?
Yeah, and that is the medication that everyone is talking about right now. Alexis, thank you for that.
Still coming up here on GMA, SoCal Strong, the ABC helicopter pilot and reporter who was the first to spot the Sunset Fire, tells us his story.
Yeah, just incredible. And the travel predictions for 2025, including where to go, when to book, and the changes you need to know.
Plus, for the first time, our friend Herm Edwards is in the studio this morning. There he is. I know. We're going to get you a chair. Welcome back to GMA on this Saturday morning. That is music superstar Bad Bunny, who just sold out tickets for his summer residency in Puerto Rico in just 4 hours. His new album, wow. Gio, help me with the pronunciation here.
Debí tirar más fotos.
Yes, or I should have taken more photos. Words I think we all can feel from time to time. So it's being called his love letter to Puerto Rico. The first 9 concerts of his 30-show residency will only be available for the locals.
And it is so good. I was listening to it at the gym yesterday. So good.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as that song started, we were all moving.
Hey.
His pride in Puerto Rico is just everything. Love that. Let's take a look at some of the other big stories that we're also following on this Saturday morning. Happening right now, TikTok warning that it will shut down for its 170 million U.S. users in less than 24 hours unless the White House intervenes. This comes after the Supreme Court sided with the federal government's national security concerns and not the company's free speech claims. President-elect Trump, who takes office one day after the ban takes effect, has vowed to try to save the app.
Also right now, Capital One telling customers it is working to resolve what it calls a technical issue that is stopping customers from being able to access their money and make payments. The bank saying a glitch with a third-party vendor has caused the issue. Customers began complaining about access to their accounts back on Thursday.
And teenage tennis phenom Lerner Tien became the youngest man to reach the Australian Open 4th round since Rafael Nadal did it in 2005. The 19-year-old American won in 3 sets. This after Tien had already defeated last year's runner-up and 5th seed in a 5-set thriller in round 2. Congratulations.
Now to GMA's SoCal Strong event. Let's listen to Aloe Black.
Believe in you, and I know that you will shine.
That was a stirring performance of Shine on Friday morning. Robin and Michael, they were there in Los Angeles hearing so many stories from survivors, first responders, telling us about the devastation out there, the heroism and the incredible resilience of the people there. And it touched Aloe Black, his children. They lost their school to the fire. So many families impacted.
So many families impacted. And on Friday, we announced several major donations to local charities. But since then, so many of you at home have been contributing what you can, and even the smallest amounts add up. And look at that number right there. Right now, we have raised $6,821,400, getting closer and closer to that $7 million mark, and you can still help. So to learn more about how to contribute, just point your phone camera right there. You see that QR code? Point your camera there, and you'll get the information.
Yes, you at home can help us raise that number. You know, and raise people up there. And of course, we also want to tip our hats to our colleagues at our LA station, KABC, for their tireless coverage. So many of them impacted by this too. Friends of ours who had to evacuate. And helicopter pilot and reporter Chris Christie was the first to spot the Sunset Fire that broke out in the Hollywood Hills and to sound the alarm. Take a look.
Mark, very concerning sight here in the Hollywood Hills.
I saw a speck off into the distance in Hollywood. It was suspicious, but we hadn't heard of reports of any fires in that area.
We saw the glow coming from over the hill, and just in the last couple minutes that it took us to get over here to Hollywood, this thing has exploded in size.
And when we got there, the winds were really ripping through Runyon Canyon. It was really scary.
We saw this fire, I think, before LA City Fire got the call. They have been dispatched out here. They're putting their eyes on this fire for the first time right now as we are doing so at the same time.
Once I saw the fire in the canyon and the rate of spread, I knew that there were a lot of people that were in danger. Right away, it was a race against the clock.
Look at this, it's already spotting. Open up, widen out, open up to the left.
I remember I went from reporting exactly what I was seeing to feeling an urgent need to warn everybody in that neighborhood immediately. There really was not much time.
If you live on Curson Avenue, Curson Place, Curson Terrace, it is time to evacuate right now. Stanley Avenue, Bonita Avenue, Vista Street. It is time to evacuate now. This fire is just about 100 feet from the end of Curson Avenue.
I really genuinely thought Hollywood might be gone. Every second counts in a situation like that, so I'm glad we were there to let everybody know what was going on. Well, it's been an interesting week. As we fly over and start surveying the damage, we've been the first eyes over some of this area that's been affected. You don't really grasp it until you see it from the air. Miles and miles of ash and debris as far as you could see.
And because of that, they were able to contain that fire so quickly. So our thanks to Chris Christie, Air 7, KABC. Thank you so much.
And can I just say, I lived and worked in L.A. for 6 years. Competition, of course, to Chris Christie, but he is just a veteran journalist who's been doing this for a very long time. And sometimes, in that moment, before firefighters even know what's going on, he has to jump out with those warnings. And nobody better to do it than Chris Christie.
And thank goodness he did it.
Yeah.
We are back now with 2025 travel. Is it the year that you're going on that big trip? Yes, Janae, you are.
Yes.
Travel expert Katie Nastro of Going.com is looking into her crystal ball here with her travel predictions for 2025. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning, Gio, Janae, Whit. How are you all?
Oh, we're so happy to see you.
And by the way, we should say all these canceled flights behind us, that is not in real time. Okay.
No, we're predicting. Don't worry, everybody.
Okay, so everyone last year was saying these flights are getting more and more expensive, right?
Yes.
What do we see for 2025?
Unfortunately, I am bearing bad news when it comes to the average price of airfare. Average price of airfare has been in an upward trend in the last 5 months, and unfortunately, we expect that to continue. We're not anticipating June 2022 when it went sky high due to all that revenge travel. We've sort of come back from that, but it is on a plane of going forward in the terms of upwards.
Okay.
So unfortunately, that is the bad news. But on the flip side, while you can't control whether airfare rises or falls as a traveler, you can control when you're booking, taking advantage of the Goldilocks windows, not too early, not too late, somewhere right in that middle, setting up price alerts through the Going app or on Google Flights or elsewhere, taking advantage of those price drops, as well as, if you can, try to travel in a low or shoulder season to take advantage of affordability as well as less crowds.
So with all that in mind, what are the best deals on flights available right now?
Yeah, it is there. Drum roll, please. All right, so our flight team found some spicy deals for you all to take advantage of low season. So January and February, right now, you can go from Seattle out to Vegas for only $97 round trip on a full service airline. That's right. You can escape this gray, horrible weather we're having in New York, and you can head to Grand Cayman for only $246.
Wow.
You can go from San Francisco out to Barcelona for $438. Or
that's a long flight.
It's a long flight, but hey, you take a week.
But for that, that's great.
For that, as well as the residents of Barcelona will definitely be happy that you're coming in. Yes. As well as, drumroll, this is actually my favorite. You can go from Detroit to Brisbane, Australia for $684. That's 55% off.
Wait, that's worth flying to Detroit to get the deal for.
Right. And the dollar goes further due to the exchange rate. So this is the time to take that big ticket trip down under.
Okay, and real quick, because those flight cancellations may not be real, but there is a lot of treacherous weather coming up. We were talking about it tomorrow. I had to change my mom's flight. You have a flight that's in danger.
Yeah.
What do we know about how the transportation department is fining airlines for chronically late flights?
Yes, I mean, that is good. They're definitely peeking behind the curtain on that. But, we're going into this year with cautious optimism. The last sort of 10 months of 2024, the last 10 months in general, have really seen a below average cancellation rate by the airlines. They're taking what they can within their control and managing them enough these flight disruptions to be just cancellations and delays. While they're annoying, they're far easier to deal with as a traveler. So below average cancellation rate, we're actually cautiously optimistic this is going to continue into 2025 for travelers.
Okay. And you're headed to
Cape Town.
Have the best
Good
time.
luck, yes.
Oh my goodness. Love that you're
Enjoy.
taking advantage of good deals.
We're back now with our buddy, our friend, ESPN NFL analyst, Coach Herm Edwards, who's here with us in studio for the first time to talk about today's divisional playoffs. Coach starting in just a few hours. Love it. Looking fresh as always.
And we have some awards to give out here.
We're going to get to that in just a little bit. We're definitely looking forward to where that's going. But, Coach, let's talk about the big games. We got two today. One of the big matchups, the Chiefs and the Texans. Chiefs looking for the three-peat here. Weather's going to be in the 20s, but Patrick Mahomes hasn't played for a while. How do you see this one playing out?
Well, I see a third down being an issue for both these teams. When you think about Kansas City, they're the number one team on third down. Now, Houston is number one defensively on third down. They're going to have to get off the field because when you think about the Texans, they don't have enough explosive players on offense right now. A bunch of receivers got hurt. We know one thing in the playoffs. Kelsey shows up. Think about Kelsey. 165 catches in playoff play, 19 touchdowns. He's a problem. He always seems like he's hibernating during the season. Where's Kelsey? And all of a sudden the playoffs show up, he shows out.
As a Niners fan, I'm aware of how he
we all
shows
know
up.
that. So,
unfortunately, yeah.
And as you mentioned, the Kansas City Chiefs are trying to do something very unique, win 3 Super Bowls. Can't count them out. They're at home.
Yep.
All right, another cold one today will be the Commanders versus the Lions. So the Lions, they have been dominant this season, but the Commanders, they've got your guy, Jaden Daniels, who you schooled us, is no longer considered a rookie because of how many games he started. And I know 3 games or something or other. He's been really impressive. What are the keys to success here?
Well, I think if you're Washington, you're concerned with the run game of the Lions because they can pound the football and really take the ball away from Jaden Daniels because of the possession time they have of the game. If you're Washington on the other side of it, you're looking at this team and going, you're hoping they bring pressure because the one thing Jaden Daniels can do, he can run. And that's a problem. He almost has 1,000 yards rushing. That kind of goes under the radar. He's an excellent passer. Obviously, the game's not going to be too big for him. We saw that last week in the playoff game. He has the ball in the last possession. He goes right down the field, wins the game. But I think if you're a Lion fan, you realize you're playing an opponent that is dangerous. But the Lions are playing at home, and they got a big offensive line that can control the game.
All right, so on Saturdays here on GMA, our viewers know we've had this whole Who's with Herm series. And the last one, all of us got a point, except wait, you remember all that smack talk when he chose the Vikings?
Wow.
I thought I took the Rams.
You took the Rams.
You took the Vikings.
I took the Vikings.
And you lost.
And he lost.
I lost that one.
Naturally.
But I knew I had this running room. I was like, you can't catch me.
All right, so you have the final tally.
I got to find it. But you know what? I'm a poor sport. So you name off the final tally who won what. I'm not going to say it.
Because you play for what?
Yeah, you play to win the game, and I didn't win the game.
Here we go. Whit had 14. Janae had 13. I had a good even. Look at that pretty number 8 right there. You had 12.
Oh my gosh.
Boy, I had 12.
Oh my gosh, he's got the crown.
We should have took it to the
King Johnson.
playoffs. I could have caught up if we were in the playoffs. But now I got to give you this trophy and humbly you sit. I'll walk over.
It actually says GMA champion.
Yeah.
GMA, right? A trophy.
Wait, who gets second place?
You know what? You get second place because you know what?
I want a second place.
You get Reese cups. You get one. I'm going to take 2. I'm going to take 2 and give you this gum trophy.
This. You play to win the game.
Congratulations.
I took your advice.
Back now with our play of the day. With the Knicks fan hitting a basket when it counted and cashed in the most.
No.
Boom. Yep. He took the court during a fourth quarter shooting contest. That one-handed half-court heave. There goes. Nothing but net. Scoring him a new car. And to celebrate, this is the best part of this story. The fan headed straight over to Ben Stiller. The only person to fan out this hard over, sitting courtside. The guy saying, I love you, giving him a big hug, maybe right home.
He almost crushed Ben.
Probably not, but Ben Stiller, oh my God.
He had to give him his blue steel look.
Yes!
Yeah. Coming up on GMA in our second hour, the new report on cancer. Stay with us.
Good morning, America. It's our second hour, the TikTok countdown. Less than 24 hours until the ban could go into effect. some of the more than 100 million American users are anxious and checking out new apps.
Hello, TikTok refugees from the U.S. Welcome to Red Note.
Could President-elect Trump stop the ban?
The American Cancer Society releasing its annual report showing an alarming rise in cancer among women and younger people, but the signs of hope and what you can do to help reduce your risk.
First on GMA, Walt Disney World pulling back the curtain and giving us a sneak peek at a new place to stay and shows debuting this year.
Our villains are coming together in this exciting finale.
What you can expect when you visit the happiest place on Earth in 2025.
And Herm Edwards is here. The football player turned coach turned analyst is making his picks for today's big games and helping us settle a few internet debates. As he says,
"Good morning, America." It's Saturday morning. This is GMA.
This is GMA, and it is a good morning, America, indeed, because Herm is in the house.
Know it.
Oh, we are so excited. We are getting his predictions for this weekend's big games, seeing whose side he's on when it comes to major pop culture debates.
I have to say, though, Witt winning the trophy, I was so close.
The Who's with Herm trophy was already handed over earlier this morning. I think I'll share some of the chocolates
Reese's,
with you
thanks.
as well. You got it. We got a lot to cover this morning, though, including that breaking news to get to overseas. Israel's government approving a ceasefire and hostage release deal with Hamas, paving the way for the agreement to take effect on Sunday morning. And President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration has moved inside because of the frigid temperatures. The Capitol Rotunda will have a live report from Washington with all the details.
Yes, we've got a lot to get to. One of the first things that President Trump will be thinking about, of course, the Supreme Court upholding the TikTok ban, which could go into effect tomorrow. But will it get a reprieve from President-elect Trump? Morgan Norwood is back. Morgan?
Hey, good morning to you, Janae. Yes, we're looking at an escalating showdown between TikTok and the Biden administration. The app announcing it will go dark tomorrow on Sunday. That is unless the administration guarantees the app stores and internet providers won't face any penalties for keeping the app online. This morning, TikTok warning it will shut down for its more than 170 million users in less than 24 hours, putting pressure on the White House to intervene. In a statement overnight, the company saying unless the Biden administration immediately provides a definitive statement that it won't enforce the ban that takes effect by law on Sunday, TikTok will be forced to go dark on January 19th.
What am I supposed to do?
Thank you for saving my life and changing my life, TikTok.
TikTok's threat to shut down comes after the Supreme Court sided with the federal government's national security concerns and not the company's free speech claims, citing TikTok's data collection practices and relationship with the foreign adversary. If TikTok doesn't cut ties with its China-based parent company ByteDance, it could be blocked with fines for app stores and internet service providers of up to $5,000 per user, with TikTok possibly in its final hours.
Hello, TikTok refugees from the U.S. Welcome to Red Note.
Americans are fleeing to Red Note in protest, another Chinese social media app.
What's up, everybody? It's Ross and Granny here.
For content creators like Ross Smith and his grandmother Gangster Granny, who together amass more than 24 million TikTok followers.
Shoveling smokestacks!
Starting over on a new platform is daunting. He says 30% of his income comes from TikTok.
We're going to lose a lot of business. It's provided a lot of jobs for people in our lives, too. Like, we've been able to pay people's salaries because of TikTok.
And a White House official telling ABC News the administration has already gone to extraordinary lengths to communicate its position, stating it will be up to the Trump administration to implement and enforce the law. Of course, we know Trump has previously vowed to save the app.
It'll be an interesting 48 hours and beyond. All right, Morgan, thank you. Turning overseas now to the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas. The Israeli cabinet approving the agreement overnight, which means an end to the fighting and the release of some of the hostages now set to begin tomorrow morning. ABC's foreign correspondent Tom Sufi Burridge is back with us from Jerusalem. Tom, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. Yeah, that ceasefire in Gaza is set to kick in the early hours of tomorrow morning. Hours later, the first 3 female hostages should be freed by Hamas. And then Israel is set to release 95 Palestinian detainees tomorrow, mainly women. The rest of part 1 of this agreement will be phased over the next 6 weeks. So during that period, Hamas is due to release a total of 33 Israeli hostages, including 2 American citizens. Israel now confirming in return it will release a total of around 1,800 Palestinian detainees, so more than 700 from Israeli prisons, including people convicted of serious crimes, as well as another 1,100 Gazans who did not participate in the October 7 terror attack and have been held by Israel without trial. Israel now preparing 3 reception centers for the hostages along the Gaza border, and nearby in Egypt, lines of aid trucks ready to head into the Strip once the ceasefire begins. Israel is still striking Gaza in the past 24 hours. More than 120 people killed since the deal was announced on Wednesday night, according to officials linked to Hamas. And this is a massive moment for Gazans, for the families of the hostages, for the entire Middle East and the role the US plays here. But there is no guarantee the 6-week ceasefire will transition into a longer-term peace agreement and the release of dozens more hostages. Gio.
All right. Thank you so much, Tom, for your reporting there. And the deep freeze gripping the East has forced President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration ceremony indoors for the first time since President Ronald Reagan took office in 1985. Workers are now scrambling to prepare the Capitol Rotunda. Our White House correspondent, Mary Alice Parks, is back with more on this. Good morning, Mary Alice.
Yeah, good morning, Gio. The forecast here on Monday has a high of just 23 degrees. With the wind chill, we're told much of the day will feel like 7 degrees. So the president-elect wrote on True Social that he didn't want to see people hurt or injured in any way. He wrote, "Therefore, I've ordered the inauguration address, in addition to prayers and other speeches, be delivered in the United States Capitol Rotunda." Yes, the last indoor inauguration was 40 years ago. In 1985, Ronald Reagan was sworn into his second term in the Rotunda. The temperature then was just 7 degrees. The coldest inauguration since was back in 2009. Barack Obama took the oath outside in 28-degree weather. Now, the outdoor platform traditionally holds over 1,600 people, but inside, probably only around 600 special guests. The Joint Congressional Inaugural Committee acknowledged that the vast majority of ticketed guests will not be able to attend the ceremonies in person in the new location. So a big question now, who will make the cut? What about all of those tech CEOs and billionaires, people like Apple's Tim Cook and Meta's Mark Zuckerberg, who were set to attend and promised prime seats? Now, we're also learning that there will not be that traditional parade down Pennsylvania Avenue. Instead, many of the festivities will be moved inside to the Capital One Arena, guys.
Yep, a lot of big changes. I'll be heading to D.C. tomorrow. I've got my heated vest all ready to go.
Hopefully gloves, too.
Yeah, gloves.
Traveling in the snow.
Be dressed like the State Puft Marshmallow Man, you know. Not the fashion
you
show.
You said it, not us. Send pictures.
Coming up on Good Morning America and our GMA Morning menu, the American Cancer Society releases a new report. We've got the alarming numbers and what you need to know.
Also ahead, Tori Johnson is here with steals on self-care solutions.
Ooh, and he's our go-to expert to settle any football-related disputes. Herm Edwards joins us to settle some of the life.
You don't need a big coat. He's having a big coat. Just toughen up around here.
He just needs a little one. Coach Herm.
I'm sensitive. I was a soccer player. We're back now with our GMA cover story. The American Cancer Society has released its annual report, and Dr. Neil Iyengar is a physician, scientist, and medical oncologist at Memorial Sloan Kettering, and he's here to talk about the findings. Doctor, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on.
Let's jump right in and tell us about this report and what it uncovered.
Yes, so let's start with the good news. In the last 11 years, we've seen about a 34% reduction in cancer-related deaths. So very promising in terms of the benefit of screening and treatments. However, the American Cancer Society has highlighted that we've also seen an increase in the number of new cancers diagnosed and dramatically an increase in younger people. When we look even further, we see that the rates of cancer have gone up in women under the age of 50. So we've seen a dramatic shift in the population of folks that are being diagnosed with cancer. It was traditionally an older medical problem, a problem of folks that are aging. But now we're seeing new risk factors that are really targeting younger people and younger women.
And doctor, those are some of the really troubling findings that we wanted to ask you about next. You just laid it out perfectly. So what do people need to know as there are these disparities and a shift that we're seeing in gender and by age? What should people know?
Great question. So I think that we can look back to a report from the American Cancer Society that was released a little earlier this year, which mentioned that nearly 40% of cancers are potentially preventable, and up to 50% of cancer-related deaths may be preventable as well. So we can stack the deck in our favor, even if we have genetics that maybe stack the deck against us, if we're following a healthy lifestyle, a plant-forward diet, minimize carcinogen exposure, don't smoke, decrease alcohol intake, wear sun protection, get vaccinated. We saw a rise in cervical cancers, which is a preventable cancer through the HPV vaccine, and oral cancers, head and neck cancers. Some of them are also preventable through the HPV vaccine.
But we're also still seeing these racial disparities really across the board. What's most striking to you this year?
I think the most striking is we saw an increase in cancer incidence and cancer-related death in Black people and Native Americans. And this is really highlighting the need to use targeted prevention strategies for underserved or underreported communities that are tailored to the unique needs of those communities. Similarly, in young women, we know that the risk factors there for cancer are slightly different than older people as well. And the need to support our young families and America's workforce, which is now going to be increasingly diagnosed with cancer, is going to be very important.
Can I ask you, like, when we see some of the diagnoses going up, how much of that do we think has to do with more people getting cancer and just our ability to detect and diagnose cancer is getting better?
Yes, so our screening techniques have certainly gotten a lot better, so we're detecting more cancers. But if we look at the rate of rise in cancer rates, the acceleration doesn't quite match the rise of use of new screening techniques. And so there's certainly something else that's going on, and it's probably our lifestyles, a mix, a part of our lifestyles, genetics, as well as environmental exposures.
Speaking of exposures, if I can ask you one more question, doctor, because when you talk about things that we can do to help stack the deck in our favor, you mentioned smoking. And with the legalization of marijuana in multiple states around the country, when you say smoking, do you mean tobacco? Do you mean marijuana? Do you mean any and everything?
Great question. So I specifically mean tobacco smoking. However, we do have some data that some of the additives in the oils that are used in vape pens, for example, with THC might be carcinogenic. There's a lot of research going on checking or looking into that question. So for now, I would caution people against vaping of any kind. And there's more research that we need looking at the use of THC or marijuana edibles. We know they can be helpful for people that are undergoing cancer therapy. We have no evidence right now that they increase cancer rates, but we certainly need longer-term follow-up.
More to know.
That was really good.
Yeah. Doctor, thank you so much for your time this morning. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It's good to have you on. Samara, let's go back to you and a check of the weather.
Hey, Whit. All right, America, get ready for some of the coldest air you have felt in 2 years. Take a look. Extreme cold warnings for Bismarck and Duluth, and it's plunging as far south as Houston, Texas. Now, when we look at these numbers, you can actually feel like temperatures could be like minus 39 in Fargo Monday morning, where the inauguration will be taking place in Washington, D.C., feeling like 4 degrees. Good thing they moved it indoors. That's a look at the forecast across the country. Let's see what's going on a little closer to home.
Early in the morning, it's the dawn of a new day. New hopes, new dreams, new ways. I open up my heart and I'm gonna do my part and make this a positively beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Good morning, America.
All right, now, first on GMA, a sneak peek at a new place to stay and shows debuting at Walt Disney World this year. Take a look. Disney World is starting strong in 2025, and we have the scoop on what's on offer. First up, the brand new Island Tower at Disney's Polynesian Villas and Bungalows, checking in with 268 new Disney Vacation Club rooms, and the amenities are already making a splash.
Then we have these terrace gardens, 4 kind of pockets within the tower that you can look at the fireworks and that you can really enjoy it and just sit back and relax. Sounds fun.
Over at Hollywood Studios, the curtain will rise this summer on Disney villains Unfairly Ever After. GMA getting a first look.
Everybody's going to get to see their absolute favorite villain on stage.
But who's the fairest of them all?
The Magic Mirror. He's definitely the star of our show.
What wouldst thou know, my queen?
It was really fun digging in deep to find what makes each animated movie special.
Our villains are coming together in this exciting finale.
And from the Magic Mirror to Under the Sea. As rehearsals are in progress for The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure.
The puppetry in the show is all new. You want to turn right upstage, downstage. So ready? 5, 6, turn to your right. The biggest new number is Kiss the Girl. And we're finally bringing it to the stage. Look at each other and then take it out on the last la-la. Ready? And sha-la-la-la.
And at nightfall, the Magic Kingdom is set to start a new parade called Disney Starlight. And right now, in a costume warehouse near Orlando, we can show you a sneak peek of the costumes being fashioned.
There is custom embroidery on every single one of our costumes. It sort of hints at all of these classic stories.
Our camera's getting a glimpse of the Disney princesses ready to reign.
The beautiful ballroom made of stars and clouds, and I cannot wait for people to see that come down the street.
Oh, all of that looks so fun. Look for these shows to open in the summer. Janae?
All right, time now for Deals and Steals. Tori is here with items built for comfort, and they're all from small businesses. You can scan that QR code. Hey, Tori, let's get to it, because we were talking about how good all of this
Under
is,
Outfit
how good it all
feels.
feels.
Yeah, comfortable shapewear, not an oxymoron when you're dealing with
it's like
Under
butter.
Outfit. It is like butter, and that's like they're proud to say that this fabric of the leggings is like butter. They're also proud that there's pockets on
There
the
you go.
sides.
The
'cause
best
mama
kind
needs
of
pockets
leggings,
on the
yes.
sides. We also have their shaping bra. This one, 8,400 positive reviews.
Wow.
It's going to support, lift, shape with no underwire.
All the things we want with none of the stuff we don't.
Exactly. Incredibly comfortable. And then the 360-degree shaping tank, the cami, you can either wear it with just a jacket, wear it alone, layer, you do you. All 50% off today, starting
All
at
the bras, all the
$12.50.
workouts
They're
are
really
good deals.
comfortable.
Yes. All right, shoes. Get your feet comfortable.
Okay, TheraFit. So what we love about these is that they're designed specifically to help relieve strain on the lower body.
Okay.
So you get incredibly comfortable shoes, but that are also got great support, great arch support. Just make your body feel good. That's what shoes are supposed to do.
Yes, indeed.
All half price today and free shipping from TheraFit. Okay,
You're
we're
telling
sticking
me
with
all
feet
about
for a while.
these. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is
because
the
you said our
Bozo.
viewers are into feet.
You guys buy
You guys
foot
like
stuff.
the foot
you guys
stuff,
put
so
them, and it's smart, like, right? Because when your feet hurt,
Everything
the day
else
is not
does,
good.
yeah.
So Nabozo is great, created by a podiatrist, and it's all about relief, recovery, stimulation. So
Yes.
these right here, these socks, that's the inside. And so if you wear them around your house, it feels like a little massage, but it's helping to stimulate the feet, stimulate
Get
the
that
nerves.
circulation going.
Yes, this is also great. You can do that too with this
Oh.
stick sitting down in front of the couch. You can
Yeah.
do this, and you get that same kind of stimulation and circulation. You can do it with their insoles. The toe splays are so
Toe
smart.
splitters.
When I wear
Ooh.
uncomfortable shoes at the end of the day, toe splays, separating
Stretch out
toes
those
is one of the
toes.
things that brings immediate relief. Great products, great price, all slash and half starting at $15.
Love it.
Footlogics.
Footlogics.
So this is all about dry, calloused feet. Goodbye to all of that with these products. So we've got
Sayonara.
a couple of options. We've got, this is one of their most popular, the callus softening. Comes also with the file to be able to help.
This is a good file.
That's a really good file, really good product. We also have their cracked heel formula, their rough skin formula. We even have their foot soak. It's a gentle pH balanced foot soak that's going to help 10 to 15 minutes.
Get
brings
all your
relief.
feet feeling better.
Yes. At-home products that really deliver, all 50% off today from Footlogics. Okay, then from the feet to the mouth.
tape.
Yes, VO2. This is one of the most popular mouth
Yes,
tapes.
because it's a thing. Taping
It's
your
a
mouth
thing.
at night.
I was on their Instagram last night. First video is Gwyneth Paltrow raving to Jimmy Fallon specifically about this. And they were being very serious because if you want to encourage better nasal breathing for eliminating snoring, helping you with better sleep, or minimizing snoring.
Keep your mouth
It depends
shut.
on who you are and how it works for you. But a pack of these, $13.50 and free shipping.
Free shipping. I'm not taking these home because my husband would try to use them when I'm awake on me.
On Got it.
Who's this?
He pulls out duct
Look
tape
at
for
this.
that. We need more than mouth tape to quiet
This
you.
man all cozy.
Okay.
All I know is this. All that stuff
Come
is
here.
really good.
Come here.
But this right here, this is the bomb right here. This
Yeah.
pillow and this blanket. Talk to us about
Okay,
this.
so you've got a weighted comforter here, and what that does,
termed out.
yeah. So for the literally the most energetic human on earth, it's a great way to help you relax,
Are you soothed?
calm.
This is woosah. This is
Woosah.
This is really good.
The pillows are woosah.
Yeah.
They're really great. This gusseted style right here also helps them to keep their shape. We've got the side sleeper one, back sleeper pillow, the weighted blanket, the
All the
comforters.
goods.
That's where it's at.
My wife is getting this for Christmas, but don't
There
tell her.
you go. Thank you so much, Tori. We partnered with all these companies. Find each on our website, goodmorningamerica.com.
We're back now with Win the Weekend. We've got Coach in the house chatting with us about this one. All right, there's some of the Detroit Lions' oldest fans, both in age and how long they've been supporting the team. And now members of the Jewish Senior Life of Metro Detroit are getting in the playoff spirit, hosting a Roarin' with Pride pep rally. Take a look.
Yeah, the event included a Lions head coach there.
They got a bunch of lookalikes.
Lookalike contest, an appearance from former players Maurice Howard and Tim Walton right there.
And of course, plenty of cheering on their favorite quarterback, Jared Goff.
Wow.
Yeah.
They don't have number 20 there.
Right?
You know number 20 there? Barry Sanders. He was really good.
What do you think, Herm? What do you think, Coach?
Look, they got a great fan base, and you love for stuff to happen to teams like Detroit, right? Because they've been in the doldrums.
And we are back now on GMA with that sweet sound, a little Amazing Grace, and the High Notes Youth Choir from Pasadena, California. And an incredible update here for you now on our SoCal Strong efforts, thanks in part to your generosity, our GMA viewers. Approximately $6.8 million have already been donated to charities supporting families and businesses hit by the fires. Look at that number right there. And you can scan the QR code that we're going to put up there on the bottom of your screen, so you can find out how to help.
Amazing, and how quickly that number is rising, too. Everybody jumping in.
Let's get that up to 7 million. Huh?
Yeah, and there's that QR code right there if you want to help out. Let's turn now to some of the other top headlines that we're following this morning. TikTok warning it will shut down for its 170 million U.S. users in less than 24 hours unless the White House intervenes. This comes after the Supreme Court sided with the federal government's national security concerns and not the company's free speech claims. President-elect Trump, who takes office 1 day after the ban takes effect, has vowed to try to save the app.
Eric and Lyle Menendez will have to wait another 2 months before they can go before a judge. The brothers, who were convicted of the 1989 murders of their parents, were scheduled to appear in court in their resentencing case at the end of January amid their bid for freedom. But that's now been postponed to March due to those LA fires.
And the legendary sportscaster Dick Vitale is returning to work following his battle with cancer. ESPN is reporting that he will call January 25th's men's college basketball game between Duke and Wake Forest nearly 2 years after signing off. So welcome back, Dick Vitale.
That is great news.
What a legend. Absolutely. All right, now to this month's GMA Book Club pick, and it is Homeseeking. And author Carissa Chen joins us now to talk all about the book. Look at that beautiful cover right there. Carissa, good morning. Welcome to GMA.
Good morning. Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Oh, congratulations on the book. So I know that this book, this story, is not based exactly on your grandparents, but this love story really began because I hear that you saw a photo of your grandfather, and that triggered something.
Yeah. So in 2005, my grandfather had recently passed away, and we were going through his things, and I found this photograph of him crying in front of his mother's grave. And, he was sort of a more, a stoic Chinese man who didn't really show his feelings a lot. So I had never seen him like that when he was alive. I wanted to know a little bit more about the context of that photograph. And what I found out was that he had gone to Taiwan when he was 19 years old, and he had never been able to go back to Shanghai again, where he was born. So he had never seen his mother again alive. So he was part of actually 2 million people who had fled from China to to Taiwan after the Chinese Civil War. So his story wasn't actually unique, and I wanted to know a little bit more about that. And that's how this story became what it is now.
That's incredible. Just with that image.
It really is. From you wanting to know more about your own family history, and then it turns into this. So we partner with Little Free Libraries to get our copies of our GMA Book Club picks out to readers across the U.S. And one of the stewards has a question for you, so let's take a listen here.
How has digging into your family's history for this story changed you? Are you a different person now than when you started your book?
Oh, good question.
Good question.
Yeah.
You know, when I started the book, I was really focused on my grandfather and what it felt like for him to be a child separated from his mother, because that's what I knew at the time. Through the course of writing this book, I actually became a mother myself. So now I have a 2-year-old, and I think I start to understand a lot more what it must have been like for his mother, you know, for the moms who have to deal with this, not knowing if their child is safe and having that permanent heartbreak. So that's something that I really empathize with now.
Wow. We were talking earlier just about the gorgeous cover that you have here. Tell us about the significance of the ring.
Yeah, so the ring in the very beginning of the book is something that Suchi, my main female character, her parents give her. And we sort of follow this ring throughout the story, throughout the decades. It's sort of a symbol of, you know, their relationship and of, you know, their home. And I don't want to spoil too much more because, you know, there's a twist about it. So I'm going to leave it at that.
I love that. What a great story. And by the way, I love how you said that you were writing this as you were becoming a mother. Your child's already 2, and now it's when this book is released.
Yes.
So that just shows how long and how much effort you put into this. Yes. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We're all excited about this, and Home Seeking is available right now. All right, thanks again. Coming up here, we are hitting the field with Herm Edwards for a game called Herms with Whom. Will you agree with his calls? Find out next.
Janae and Gio, get a hold of yourselves here. Let's get this thing going. We'll welcome back to GMA. ESPN's Coach Herm Edwards is back to join us on our field this time and settle some debates. And since his weekly segment is usually called Who's with Herm, we're calling this one Hang On, Janae. Herms with Whom. And Will Gans is joining us. He's our moderator to walk us through the rules.
Herm has something to say.
Yeah, we got to upgrade these footballs. But anyway, let's go. Get on with the game.
Hey, budget cuts.
When I'm in charge of bringing them, this is about what I can handle. Okay. So, all right. Here are the rules of our game. I'll ask the question, and with Janae and Gio, you will move to the side of the either or option that you like, whichever you agree with, all right? Once you decide, then Herm will decide. Every time he chooses the same thing you do, you get a point and a mini football, all right?
Okay, got it.
All right, we'll tally them up at the end. The winner will get a big, beautiful bouquet of bragging rights. All right, baby?
There you go.
Let the games begin. Okay, since we already talked about today's games in our first hour, tomorrow's games are the Los Angeles Rams versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, so who do you guys like? Rams on this side, Eagles on that side.
Okay, I know. Nobody go right.
I know who.
Whatever you do, do not go right.
He bleeds green.
You are correct.
All right, amazing. So
you know what? You're so correct. I'm giving you 2 balls. I'm gonna give you 2. I'm going to. Come on, I'm gonna give you 2, and I'm gonna give you 1 for answering the question.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right.
All right, moving on. In the AFC, we have the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills facing off in Buffalo here on ABC. So that will be the Bills over here. The Ravens will be
go to the Ravens.
You know what?
Going with Lamar Jackson.
I got to say, Josh Allen, I feel like it's happening this year.
Oh, I'm a big Josh Allen fan. I am. And I want to go over there.
But
We gotta go with the Ravens. I'm gonna give you 1 anyway. We're doing Josh Allen.
Well, see, now we're gonna lose count now.
That's right. All right. We'll give you extra points if you can start juggling them, by the way. Okay. Now we're making things a little bit more personal, all right? When it comes to breakfast, are you going savory or sweet? It doesn't have to be every time. It just has to be this morning. So over here, team omelet. Over there, team pancakes and French
savory.
Yes, I'm staying with the omelets.
Yep.
Herm?
Sweet as they get.
Girlfriend.
Yeah!
And you can't get enough syrup on them pancakes.
I love it. All right, next up, we've got a real debate here. Pineapple on pizza. Do we want pineapple on the pizza? Is it okay over here? Or no pineapple on pizza over there?
I'm going to say yes. I like a little pineapple on pizza.
I do, but I like the cheese only.
Cheese only? What are you, like 3-year-old kid? You're like my kids.
Yes.
I'll invite you to a birthday
How you
party.
gonna eat a pizza with pineapple?
Wow.
Kidding me? Look at this. Go to Hawaii if you want a pineapple. You don't put it on no dead pizza. He's in New York. Get up.
We're definitely learning a lot about each other
Yes,
here
we
this
are.
morning. I'm sort of wishing I brought the helmet and the pads based on how things are going. All right. When it comes to TV shows, do you like to binge them all at once, or do you like to watch one at a time?
I got an early bedtime. I can only handle one at a time.
Do you binge the entire season at once, or are you one at a time?
You just can't get right. Trying to give you a ball, you don't want one. You just can't get right. We're running out of questions. Let's get right.
There's still time. There's time for a comeback.
That's right. All right. Now let's talk about James Bond. Who is your favorite James Bond? Do you like Connery, Sean Connery, or do you like Daniel Craig? Sean Connery, Daniel Craig.
I gotta go.
Oh my God, wait, you know what?
Sean Connery's over
This
here.
is not fair. They're both amazing. I'm standing right here.
I know, that's a tough
They're both
one.
amazing.
Neutral.
They're both amazing.
This is why I wore the turtleneck. Sean Connery. He's the guy. Sorry, darling. He's the guy.
That's okay.
I'm just saying.
That guy, that don't matter.
He's the original James Bond. He's the guy.
Can't be the original. All right. Moving right along from that statement. All right. What about texting or calling? If you've got something to say to somebody, are you team text or team phone
And
call?
Herm, look, we understand that this may be a generational thing.
What is this?
This is texting over here. This is phone calls over here. Oh! All right.
Hey, no. You have to call people.
No.
Talk.
I love
No. Don't press the talk.
I don't have time for your phone call, Coach. We gotta schedule that call. We gotta schedule that call.
All right.
No road call. You know what? People have courage when they text.
That's right.
You know what? That's
False
a good
courage.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
False courage.
All right. So, say you're planning a vacation and you're calling Herm about it. Are you team beach getaway or team ski trip?
Yes.
Beach getaway.
Where's the beach at?
Beach is over
I
here.
know she ain't going no skiing. And I'm with her.
All right.
Everybody in the pool. You keep that skiing from her. No, we're not going skiing.
No, we're not.
And not happening. Not happening. No.
Not our kind of activity.
All right. I think if we were to tally, it's got to be.
It's got to be Janae.
It's Janae. Tie Janae and Gio. Congratulations.
I've been losing all year. So
That's right. Yeah, Jill finally gets
So
one.
we can officially say we've been working all season on Who's with Herm, and now we know Herm is with Gio and Janae.
Yeah.
Amen.
Congratulations.
Just like the
They
rest of
like
us.
regular pizza.
I still got the trophy.
That's right.
Keep that trophy.
All right, Herm, thank you. Will, thank you. Let's
Gio and I are getting our self-care on because we're starting strong in 2025. And this morning, it's time to help you feel your best with products that will help you glow into the new year. Lifestyle expert Brittany Levine joins us. These red light, we can feel the buzzing. We're so excited about all of this. First, though, let's start with this Sugar Wish.
Yes, so Sugar Wish.
It smells
what they've done
amazing.
is literally giving you the spa at your own home. So you can also gift this to someone too. They have 40 plus options on their site, and if you send, say I'm sending you a Sugar Wish, you can choose all different spa-like options. They've got their bath bombs here, their sponge gel infused buffers. So they started the mini for $25. That's one option. And then you can go up to 6 different options that you can give someone. They come in these beautiful boxes
amazing.
to your home. So it's like, create that
Look at
spot
this
for you
bubble
home.
bath that
I
you're
know.
gonna get. Oh my
It's
gosh.
beautiful. And these are incredible things you can choose from your site. The best part, the recipient chooses, or you choose what you can get. It smells so good, right?
Amazing.
That's so cool. I
Yes.
feel like we're doing like experiments here.
Yes, I love. We're testing everything.
Okay, so let's talk about red light therapy. This is what Janae and I were testing.
Yeah, we
here.
need
It
to
feels so
get our
good.
skin glowed up. Yes. So Face House, they are that open concept facial bar. They have locations across the U.S. What they've done is taken and partnered with SolarWave. This is that red light stim therapy. You almost feel it. You feel the currency on your skin. If you do this about 3 times a week, for 12 minutes, you're going to see the blemishes disappear. They target red lines, all the wrinkles, anti-aging. They've taken their Luminary Dark Spot Director, and this is a bundle you can get.
So you can use
So you use this first, and then this you can put on 2 to 3 times a week. This is like their star standout product at Face House.
Gonna get glowing.
So you can use what they do facials there, bring it home to you, and it's like $165.90 for the whole bundle. You're bringing those spa products into your own home.
Very cool.
Really, really nice. Yeah.
Okay.
So from Face House, and then we've got these Demora eye patches, these golden glow eye patches, okay? So
And
what
we know
you
how
do,
good they are.
they just literally help to depuff. They help to revitalize
You're gonna put one
your
on now?
skin. I love it.
Because you don't even have makeup on your skin so good.
It is so good, right, Gio? Yeah, you are amazing. And these have over 41,000 positive reviews on Amazon.
So good.
There's
bet it
30
does.
that come
I'm
in
so
here,
jealous.
and it gives you that coolness factor. If you're just starting off your day, you put these on, have a cup. Yeah, you can feel like the coolness already in there.
I love it.
Yep.
Doesn't it feel
And
good?
it just plumps, right? It gives you that little,
Renee would kill me if I put this on.
I know. Renee, we love her so much.
Good.
So
Okay.
this is on Amazon, and this is $17.99. You have 30 patches in here, so you can go after it.
Oh,
And then,
it's so cooling after the fact. Okay, so this is for hair.
yes, we're also revitalizing our hair this winter too. So Ricardo Rojas, he's from And Just Like That, from Sex and the City, and a celebrity stylist to the stars, started his own line that gives back to his native Argentina. What you're looking at here is his hair repair mask, okay, his luxurious
Which looks
mask.
so full and
smells so
luxurious.
Oh my
good.
gosh,
Smelly.
it revitalizes your strands, it helps with breakage, but what you're looking at, the standout product, this is yerba mate extract. It gives you that boost, and in Argentina, you drink this tea every day.
It is such
to
good
give
tea.
you, it's incredible.
Yeah, so many antioxidants.
Oh my, see, Gio knows his
does.
stuff.
Of course
He's
he does.
doing his, I love it. So yes, that's what's helping you when you're putting this on your hair. I like to do a hair mask at night, so it's something where I do this before. Sometimes I sleep in it, but Ricardo has beautiful ingredients, minerals, oils. I love his stuff. And you can get this on Amazon for $55.
Nails.
Yes, this is that revolutionary
Like
at
at
home
home.
gel manicure system. So we're trying to bring those gel manicures to you. Livy Beauty started this system. It's 3 women, best friends that are moms. They don't want to go to the salon anymore.
You don't
You
have
could
to
do this
spend
on
the
the
time.
go. You could do this anywhere. But what's the best part is they're actually cured stickers. So they come in packs like this. They fit to your nails. So different various
Put it
nail
on,
types. Exactly.
Stick it under, and there you go.
And
No
there
more
you go.
waiting. You're
It's
saving all the time.
Right, and it's safer for you because
Glow
they're
up.
stickers. So it's not,
Love it.
yeah, better than the gel manicure.
Thank you
cured.
so much.
Yeah.
You at home can just point your cell phone at the QR code on your screen, and it'll take you there to all the products on our website, goodmorningamerica.com.
Before we go, guys, we just want to thank our buddy Herm Edwards playing along with us today. It was a blast, our
Pleasure's
friend.
been all mine.
love us?
All the time. Every day.
As long as we don't invite him to go skiing.
Yeah,
apparently.
that's right.
We don't do that. We don't do cold.
But we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, see me tomorrow.
Yes, we'll see you tomorrow. ABC News Live today.